Welcome to the Build Wise podcast, where construction meets wisdom. Join us as we explore the ins and outs of the construction industry. We're going to share insightful tips. We're going to dive into the latest trends. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just getting started in your journey in construction, BuildWise is your go-to source for valuable insights. Let's build a smarter, wiser future together. Like and subscribe, and stay tuned for a foundation of knowledge in each episode. Thank you. All right, Bree.
All right, Dad.
Let's get this show on the road.
All right. So, we have today project management is what we're going to be talking about. We're just going to dive in a little bit, give some statistics. I have a video that we're going to watch. So why don't we just go ahead and show the video? Because even though it doesn't really necessarily have to do with project management per se, there are some things about project management I can ask you about.
So this is going to be a safety video?
No, it's more about project management in general, like
So
a
we're just
full
gonna,
scope.
We're going to get the bare facts.
We're going to get the bare facts. That'll make sense in a second.
Okay. So,
It's the
well,
bare
we'll
min-
explain.
It's the bare minimum.
We'll the bare minimum. We'll explain what's going on here in a minute, but we're going to watch this video, and then you guys, hopefully we're going to learn something from this. All right. So we're going to get going here. So, yeah, this is a job site prank,
Yep.
and this is going to be pretty funny. I want to know where he got the bear costume.
Oh my gosh. Wait, this is my favorite part. Right there.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he's standing up going, rah!
Like doing jumping jacks.
Okay, so as a project manager, what would you say or do in this situation? Because although it's funny, it's hilarious to have, pranks and keeps the job probably a little bit more lighthearted and going. It's also not safe. So we want to have some lighthearted fun, but there's maybe ways to do it. But at the same time, as a project manager, what would you do and how would you step in that situation? Because accidents can happen.
Yeah, so these pranks, they're pretty stinking funny. I mean, that was pretty hilarious, but that's not the place for it on a job site. And the reason being is, imagine that guy turning around and there was an open trench, there was a stake, there was something he could have or turned around and ran into an excavator or something. Even though they're funny, the job site's really not the place for it.
Yeah.
So how this leads to project management and supervision is that it's everybody's place on the job to, manage stuff like this and to say, hey, this probably isn't a great idea here. You're going to do it after work on your own time somewhere else. Might be pretty funny.
Yeah.
But I find the humor in it.
How would you handle it? Like, what would you do with your crew?
We would probably laugh first, but then we would definitely have everybody come into the office and we'd have to have a chat and we'd have to discuss that. And typically on projects, you're going to sign stuff that job site pranks. If you're abiding by OSHA stuff, the job site prank stuff is not tolerated.
Right.
It's for all the obvious reasons. I mean, you can literally kill somebody if you're not careful.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds like innocent fun, but it can be bad.
Yeah.
And, construction as a whole is probably the number one, if I think you're reading the OSHA stuff today correctly, is probably the number one leader in fatal accidents.
Yeah.
And, that puts us above police and all kinds of other stuff. And it's because we're working around live voltage. We're working around, open trenches. We've got big stakes. We've got sharp equipment. We got heavy equipment that can't see and it'll squish you like a bug. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, they won't even feel you. I mean, they'll just,
Yeah. Well, it did say that more construction workers have died on the job last year than in any other industry sector out there. So in 2022, there was 1,069 workers that had died on the job in a construction related field. Which it says it was a rate of 9.6 fatalities per 100,000 full time workers. And this is according actually to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, but it was also shared on OSHA websites, just basically that fatalities are very high. So it's really important, obviously, to maintain the safety and the procedures that are in place.
did you go back and find out how many of those were with pranks?
I did not. No, that's a little bit more digging. But nonetheless, accidents happen, whether it's a prank or it's just an accident, and so we want to, obviously prevent them as much as possible. So,
So project management wise, my take on this applying to that is it's everybody's duty to stop something
yeah,
and manage and managing a project and project management isn't just budget and financials. It's this everything on a job site equates to risk.
yeah,
Everything is risk management, all the way from you're managing financial risk, you're managing well, all of it's a financial risk really. I mean, if that guy were to have gotten killed, I mean, not only does
yeah,
it hurts a family, and it financially it hurts the client, it hurts the construction company, it stops the job,
insurances.
the insurance. I mean, the
Yeah.
list goes on and on and on. And so I guess the point is that, good project management also really pays attention to job site safety and managing it ahead of time. Like, don't let it happen.
Yeah.
And if you've that obviously was set up, and so other people knew, and so you got to really pay attention to that and not allow that to happen. And so that's enough on the safety aspect of that. But what else you got for project management for me?
Okay, well, you've worked just about every role from sweeping floors to owning your own company. So, and everything in between. So, what are the differences between, I think project management and superintending can be, they seem very similar, but they actually have very different distinct roles. What's the differences and what did you prefer?
I actually really enjoyed the field superintending,
Okay.
and I really liked being out there kicking rocks with the guys, running a tight ship, making sure that we weren't doing stuff like that. I mean, pranks are going to happen, and you just gotta hopefully nip them in the bud and that kind of thing. But the superintendent's role is pretty important, honestly, because a good superintendent will make or break a project. I mean, it literally is all on him.
Yeah.
As far as, when your schedule's off, it costs the company money. When the schedule's off, the subs don't win. The owner doesn't win. The construction company doesn't win. It's not good. It ends up being that, like, literally you can make the company money or lose the company money. And if you don't run a tight ship on the job site, and I'm talking like from the very beginning, where you're looking ahead on the drawings, you're it's trust but verify on everything.
Yeah.
And so superintendent's role is more important than people think. I mean, it's not just some guy out there that's been swinging a hammer for 20 years. You've got to be able to read plans, identify problems, bring them up ahead of time, keep the subcontractors moving by clearing the road out ahead of them for all those kind of problems. And then after they're kind of got on a little track, then you drop back and you go find the next set of problems. And it's constantly clearing the path to keep those subcontractors moving.
Okay. For project management, because one of the things I wanted to know was what's the difference between project management and superintendent? and it's being a superintendent?
So super and companies run things differently.
Okay.
You know, like there was a project I was on, and I was doing both roles. It was a big job, but it it just became easier just dealing with stuff in the field. And so, you know, the classic distinction is a superintendent pretty much, you know, here's a set of plans, go build this. And then the project manager, you know, gets the subcontractors' bids, qualifies them. That means goes through them, goes through the drawings, makes sure it matches the drawings, make sure there's no holes, writes good contracts, not just, you know, install per plan.
Yeah, we're
You
going to get
know,
into contracts too.
yeah, and so it's really important to identify those things, and then write good contracts. So then the project manager's job is to clear the road for the superintendent.
Okay.
And so what that means is he's got contracts, good solid contracts, dollar amounts are good, and all that. And then getting change orders processed timely, not only to the owners but to the subcontractors, and then paying attention to what's going on in the field, and then staying out ahead of your superintendent on what he needs. And so, and project management. There's if we want to break out a description or post descriptions of a project manager and a superintendent, so you can see the whole detailed list of what goes into all that. I mean, it's pretty long.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Some companies are big enough. They've got, estimating department. They've got pre-construction services, estimating departments. They've got, project managers. They've got on-site project managers. They got in-house project managers. They got, there's all kinds of things that go into stuff depending on how large the project is.
Yeah.
And then if you get down to what we were doing, and which was 20 some million, I can't remember exactly, but basically I was handling the stuff in the field, change order wise, with the clients. I had a pretty good rapport with the clients, and I can explain and articulate the issues because they weren't usually cheap change orders. They were pretty expensive. And so to be able to sit there and just articulate the change order and show them on site and explain it to them, get them to sign it right there, it helped a lot. Versus, goes from me to the project manager. Project manager sends it to the client. Client goes, I'm not paying this. And then, it just worked out a lot better. And that's how I ended up doing that one like that. But then we've had other ones where that just wasn't feasible. So.
Well, there's some good statistics regarding project management job, like the global economy is going to be requiring about 87.7 million new project management roles that are going to need to be fulfilled by 2027 is kind of what they're estimating. So if you're looking for a job in project management and you're qualified for it, just know that there are job opportunities that are going to be out there. And that was according to the Project Management Institute. So when you were a project manager, how did you handle project planning and scheduling to ensure timely project completion?
So there's a lot of different ways to do it, but we did. I would actually get all the subcontractors into the same room, kind of a pre-construction thing. We get all the foremans in there because the foremans are the ones that are going to dictate and know what their men can and cannot do. Mm-hmm. The offices and the owners of the other subcontractor trades, if they're big enough, they get in their head that they can do X, Y, Z, but the boots on the ground kind of know more what's feasible, right? So I would get a consensus, and there's a system out there. It's called pull planning, and basically it's where you stick a bunch of sticky pull, like Pull. And then you put a bunch of sticky notes on the board, with, each subcontractor for concrete, excavation concrete, framing, steel, whatever. And they go up there and they go, well, I could do this on this day, that on that day. But, if Joe over there doesn't get his thing done, Okay, Joe, you get up there and you do what you can do. And then you look at all this. And basically what you come up with is this schedule that these subcontractors have kind of, in a broad stroke, agreed on.
Yeah.
And what
Well,
some
just
of
an
the
understanding.
right,
Yeah.
and so some of the biggest mistakes that they make is construction companies will shove a schedule down someone's throat that some project management or some owner made to get the job. You know, because usually when you do a contract, they say, okay, submit a schedule with it, da 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 da, right? Then they shove that out there and say, this is a schedule you got to live by. Well, that's probably not going to be realistic.
So what is more realistic?
So what's realistic is what I just explained. You get the boots on the ground, you do pre-construction, and so what I would do is I'd pay attention to the milestones that the contract was contracted to, and as long as their conversations achieved those milestones or better, then we would make some adjustments.
Mm-hmm.
And what I found was in the field that it was very harmonious. Like subs really liked it, and there was not a bunch of complaining like, man, I ain't coming over there. Frank's not done yet. Screw that guy. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it was more like, hey Dan, according to the thing, Frank's supposed to have this done. Looks like he's gonna make it. It doesn't look like he's gonna make it because something didn't get delivered. Okay, powwow. Okay, how can we rearrange that? Frank, when you gonna have your pipe there? Okay, all right. Well, can you do this until then? And then we'd rearrange it a little bit, but the milestones stayed the same. Or usually, what ended up happening with that system, or the derivative of that system, is we beat all the milestones. It would end up being better, and it wasn't a cluster, and it was way more intuitive and flowed better with everybody.
Okay. So one thing when I was reading on like statistics and stuff, and this is actually jumping from scheduling, I guess, but to the software side, because now there's new technologies and software that is available to contractors and subcontractors. And so I read that only 23%, here we are in 2024, and only 23% of contractors and project managers use the assistance of software programs. Do you think that software programs have benefited the industry, or do you think is sometimes a nuisance and gets in the way?
That's a good question. I'm actually really proud of your questions. That's,
Dad, I'm still your kid. I'm an adult, but I'm still your kid. I'm a good kid, okay?
Yeah, no, it's no doubt you're a good kid, but I mean, everybody, if you don't know it, I mean, she really doesn't have other than being my daughter, a construction background, and some of the stuff that she's putting out here is it's good. So, all right. So software. Oh, good grief. So the software, if you use it, can be extremely powerful and helpful.
Do you have your project managers use the software?
Not as much as I want them to.
So you are in favor of.
We're changing that, and in all fairness, we just switched to Procore, so we're getting that all dialed in and all tuned up to speed, and trying to get it where we need it to be. And there's a lot of background work that goes into it.
Yeah.
I know our office manager's been in there, working like heck, trying to get all the background stuff put in there, and contracts. I mean, having everything tied, to everything, getting the directory done and all that stuff. So,
gosh, what did you guys do before that? It just seems so archaic.
Word documents and Excel spreadsheets. All our schedules I used to do on Excel spreadsheets.
Yeah.
And then, some of them were just handwritten out, but there's a lot of stuff out there, and I've worked with a lot of different software companies and different things. And, if you use the software like it's supposed to be from beginning to end,
yeah,
and you don't lax up on it, it's pretty powerful.
Yeah, very effective.
It's very effective.
Yeah.
So don't discount it. And if you've got it, you're paying a lot of money for it. So utilize it.
Yeah.
You know, we need to, you know, we're just now getting all our plans uploaded and trying to get all that out there. And I'm already finding out that it's definitely been better. I've been able to look stuff up instantly on the job site. We can input, you know, issues or problems on there.
Well, it's
We
so
can,
proficient.
yeah, we can forward it to whoever needs to go, you know, whoever needs to go to, you know, a subcontractor, a engineer,
Yeah.
or an architect or whatever, right?
Yeah, and I think sometimes it's just about finding which software works best for your company. Because I know we had one before that there were some problems with it. So it obviously, when there's issues that a software creates, it just trickles down and creates issues everywhere else. So when you find the right one, it, you know, makes everything just a little bit easier and the world go round.
Well, there's nothing worse than, and it drives me crazy, is, you know, you're supposed to be putting stuff in there on a regular basis and doing the right thing, and then you're in front of a client, you're in front of somebody, you're on the job trying to, oh, I got that, you know, and you go, somebody didn't put it in there, you know. It's like,
Well, I know
and
with the last program we had, because I did some of the bidding, and it was so frustrating because we'd upload it, and it was like it wasn't.
it glitched out.
It glitched out, or it wasn't there, or you had to like wait till it fully loaded, and if you went to another screen, it just didn't
Yeah.
process. So again, it's just about finding the right program that works for your company,
Yeah.
and one that works. Okay, so one more question, and then we're going to close with some final thoughts. So OSHA is really big and required. How often do you require, or is there an industry standard for your project managers to study up on tests and have that knowledge of OSHA safety procedures?
Yeah. So there's, and you know, there's no reason not to do your OSHA training. You know, it's literally online, and you can learn a lot. You know, and that's just the beginning stages to learn, right? And so when you get out in the field, you know, and you start applying it, you know, if you do like the OSHA 10 and then you do the OSHA 30, you're going to go on site and you're going to see things that in a different light that you never seen before. And you're really going to go, oh my gosh, you know, we've been doing that all this time like that.
Yeah.
You know, so it's simple things. And, you know, ladder safety, it seems like so obvious, but it's just abused all the time. It's not done correctly. You know, cranes, scaffolding, you name it, you know, it's just not done correctly. And so if you do that, you're going to get a little bit of a hankering to learn more and to want to do it right. And you're going to find that as you get in the much bigger and better projects, you're going to find that they expect that expectation is not only here, it's way up here.
Yeah.
And, you know, you on the smaller jobs, like, oh, we've been doing it this way forever. You know, don't worry about it. And then you're going to find that you get on the bigger projects. You're going to find that you get on the bigger projects, and they're going to, that's not like that at all. It's going to be like, you're going to walk up to a supervisor and go, hey man, I need to get some opinion on this. Usually they go have safety managers, you know, that are on site or close by. And then you get a consensus, you write up an AHA or, no, I'm having a brain fart. Activity hazard analysis, or whatever they want to call it, or an AHJ, activity hazard, something. Anyway, I can't remember all the terms. We're all having brain farts. Where's my coffee?
Yeah, I know. I forgot mine today too.
Anyways,
So
JHA, job site hazard analysis.
there you go.
I got my acronym mixed up. There's so many acronyms in this industry. But anyways, you write those up, and basically those things, if you really want to get into it, or we can go into all that later, but
Yeah.
you know, it's basically you're writing up, you've observed something, what are the hazards, how are you going to mitigate them, and you know, what are all the precautions you're going to use, and you get the buy-in and consensus of everybody, and then you go do it.
Yeah.
And it's not just, you know, shooting from the hip. You know, it's literally you're getting a consensus on being safe and all that. And you're usually around a bunch of people that's got a lot of safety training, but you're going to observe things as you get in these different things, and you're going to want to up your stuff. So there's always training going on somewhere. the Association of General Contractors here in town always has something going on. There's other venues. There's online, safety seminar stuff. There's a lot of information out there.
Yeah. All right. Well, I feel like that was just kind of really scratching the surface of project management. I know there's probably so much more. So you guys put any questions that you have in the comments, and we can definitely build upon this specific topic and give you some more insight and knowledge into project management as a role on a job site. Do you have any more final thoughts on the topic?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's a humongous topic, and there's different facets of it too. There's all different areas, so we can get into that. If you haven't already, like and subscribe to this channel and share it, and get the message out. And we're going to be bringing this stuff up, and we're going to be dissecting it and doing whatever. Please comment and be nice. But comment.
No, it's okay. You can be mean. We like haters.
but I mean,
But how can you hate us?
I'm trying to get good information to dissect or to bring up and to make it expand upon it. And so if there's something about any of this that you want to know more about or learn more about, just put it in there and let us know. And we're going to try and even if it's a segment or a piece or a whole podcast or a series of podcasts and whatever you come up with, we'll do that. So thank you and have a great day. And we appreciate you watching BuildWise.
Bye.
Bye.